village administrator. So our first candidate is Jason Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jason. The Village Council, Blissful Village Council is interested in getting to know you this afternoon. Please take a couple of minutes to tell us about yourself personally and professionally.
Sure. Well, currently I am the executive director of the Eaton Rapids DDA and Main Street program. That I've been there since July of 2019. I have a BA in public administration and just finished my MPA program in the same last week. So hopefully I should have my diploma here fairly soon. My grades were pretty solid, so I'm pretty confident in that. Personally, it's always a weird question. I'm kind of a nerd. I like video games and computers and the day-to-day management of government, as weird as that sounds. I started my professional career as an elected official as mayor of Jackson in 2013. Realized I wasn't a big fan of the political side of things, but loved the day-to-day side of things, and started mentoring with Dr. Birch. Went back to school and got all of my necessary degrees, and here I am today.
Thank you. Jason, the first question was from Bob Valdez, village president. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself.
Hi, Jason. I'm Gwen Dusa. If you were an elected village trustee, what would be your top 2 goals for Blissfield?
So my top 2 goals, I think, are they sort of align with the comprehensive plan that you put together in 2017. When I drove through yesterday, there were some sidewalks that needed some attention, some minor infrastructure attention that needed to be taken care of. And then secondly would be through the building department and code compliance, maintenance, things like that. Making sure that building codes are up to date, making sure properties are compliant with building codes, and really just focusing on beautification is probably my 2 biggest things.
Thank you.
Hi, Jason. I'm Mike Gunter. Please share with us your proudest professional accomplishment.
Excellent question. I think for me right now, the biggest one that's on my mind is probably surviving through the shutdown and through the pandemic. We don't have a lot of businesses in our downtown in terms of, comparatively speaking to some of our neighboring communities, but we didn't lose any of them through the shutdown. We were able to keep them all moving, keep them all afloat, get them all the information, materials, financing resources that they needed to stay alive through the shutdown, which was pretty awesome in my opinion.
So Jason, I'm Barb McHenry. Barb, will you pull your mic down, please? Sorry. Hi, Jason. I'm Barb McHenry. Since being notified that you were a finalist for this position, what have you done to get to know Blissfield? And please be specific.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've done is look at the comprehensive plan and see where the comprehensive plan lies versus what's actually happening in the community. I drove through yesterday, as I previously mentioned, to kind of get a feel for how things are laid out, how things look, and sort of compare pieces of the comprehensive plan to what I could visually see without really knowing the nuts and bolts of what's going on, in the administrative side of things and what's being worked on and things like that we can't see through public hearings and public meetings and things like that. The other thing I did was look at the organizational chart, look for areas of opportunity to combine department head positions, things like that, where you can save a little bit of money. And looking at the budget, it looked like it had kind of been up and down a little bit. So looking for areas of opportunity where not necessarily where we would cut, but where we can be a little bit more efficient financially. And then lastly, as I mentioned, I looked at the budget and compared that to what had happened in previous years. And then again, just driving around the city or the village and looking at things and kind of getting my head wrapped around some of the things that are sort of low hanging fruit.
Hi, Jason. This is Jerry Hayes. Please share your relevant municipal experience that you believe would make you an ideal candidate to lead our community.
Sure. Admittedly, I don't have that, city manager experience, but I have mentored significantly with Dr. Birch, who, arguably was one of the better city managers before he retired in the state. Very knowledgeable in government administration, working with him side by side, along with my educational capacity and getting all the appropriate degrees and in classroom training while sort of being on the job at the same time as an elected official and learning how those things operate. And then here in Eaton Rapids, I have worked pretty closely with the city manager. I try to loop him in on things that we're trying to do. I try to keep my finger on the pulse on what the city's doing, and have those dialogues, have those conversations about where I can be better, where, I may have an idea about something, and working pretty closely with him to try to wrap my head around some of the things that he does on a day-to-day basis, just to kind of expand my tool set, I guess.
Thank you.
Hi, Jason. James Eisman here. Teamwork is an important component of a successful organization. Please share with us the last time you went above and beyond to foster teamwork in your organization.
Excellent question. We have a really strong team in Eaton Rapids, from the elected officials all the way down to, sort of the lower new people on the totem pole. We all work really, really well together. We're happy to step in and help out wherever we can. I can recall we did an event with the mayor to raise some school supplies for the school district. I had literally bags and bags full of backpacks and notebooks and things like that were sitting in my garage. I brought those down, helped out with the quality of life department, which is sort of our parks and rec and neighborhood development and things like that. They were running the show there, so I stepped up to help them out and facilitate getting some of those supplies organized. We work together in terms of sharing the wealth quite a bit as well. The DDA recently embarked on an advertising campaign. One of the components of that advertising campaign was working with the quality of life department to promote our canoe livery on the river and getting that kicked off on Memorial Day. So we on our dime helped out with that, kind of going above and beyond. Didn't really ask for anything in return for them because we do share a lot of responsibilities. The quality of life department handles a lot of the events that I do or that happen in the downtown. So it takes a lot off of my plate. So I'm happy to step up and help out wherever we can, both financially and with, boots on the ground.
Thank you.
Helping to create a stronger economic base and a continued vibrant downtown are critical to Blissfield. Please share your overall experience in economic development and downtown relations.
I deal with this on a daily basis. And for me, it's going out on a regular basis, talking to the business owners, finding out what they need, and getting them connected to the right resources, whether that's through me personally, through our facade program, or that's through another resource at the state or the federal level, getting them connected with PPP and things like that. And then from an economic recruitment standpoint, I work pretty closely with all of our local realtors, especially the commercial ones who have potential tenants for our landlords and our building owners, and trying to recruit some of those smaller companies. Right now, I'm working with a realtor on bringing in a cell phone retailer. We're working on a local resident who wants to open up a business that has to do more with arts and crafts and his own leatherworking business, trying to find him a suitable place. Working with our building owners to make sure they have their rents right sized, making sure that they have the right tools in place and that their building is set up in a way that makes it easily adaptable for whatever business may come along, and trying to convince them that, you know, the market isn't quite where they may think it is for their building, or maybe they're selling themselves short and convincing them otherwise. So those are really the big pieces that I'm working on right now with downtown development.
Fast forward to May 2024. You have been our village administrator for the past 3 years. What would be a successful 3-year period? What would a successful 3-year period look like to you?
I think for me, the successful 3-year period starts with continuing with the comprehensive plan. By then, hopefully, we should be starting to wind down and checking off a lot of those boxes and getting them ready to go for not necessarily a reboot of the comprehensive plan, but a refresh of the comprehensive plan. Getting all of those pieces in place. What did we do well? What didn't we accomplish that we still want to? Where are we building from that foundation? Additionally, it's continuing to look for efficiencies. You know, some of your best assets are department heads and employees, and leaning on them, especially, you know, your veterans to come to the table with ideas that can improve efficiencies, and listening to them, making them part of the team, making them included, and getting those things lined up that they need to be successful. You want to make sure that all of your people have the tools they need to be successful. So hopefully after 3 years, we have done that, or we're positioning ourselves to do that.
The Blissfield Village Council is seeking an administrator who will consider our community their home. We hope you will be seen as an important part of our community fabric. Please share your current community involvement or your after-hours volunteerism.
Sure. Right now, I help out a little bit here and there with our county animal shelter. I I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Our county animal shelter does some fundraising events and things like that. I try to help out with raising money with them, or I bring my wife owns a craft company that she makes, you know, sewing things and stuff like that. We bring some of those to sell, and all the proceeds from those items go directly to the animal shelter. I help out with hanging out with the animals and trying to spend a little bit of time here and there with them. In Eaton Rapids, I help out with the quality of life department and sit on a handful of various committees, 4th of July, things like that, just to kind of have some additional input outside of my professional capacity. I speak frequently with the Kiwanis Club in Eaton Rapids, and keep them up to date on things, and sort of have a listening session with them for their input. A lot of times we get a lot of really valuable input and a lot of insight that I don't normally get in my professional capacity. So I try to stay abreast of what they're up to, and they try to keep me involved in things that they're trying to come up with to help with the community as well. But really, locally where I live in Jackson, it's mostly the animal shelter, and trying to pitch in where I can in our neighborhood locally, through our little Facebook group. We try to get together and plan things out and discuss.
Thank you.
Hey, Jason, this is your opportunity to take the next 2 minutes and tell us why we should select you and why you're the right fit for Blissfield.
That is an excellent question. I've been preparing for a role like this for quite some time now, since really 2013, 2014, when I decided that government administration was the path I wanted to take, and I really dove in head first. I've learned from some of the best, and I try to take those teachings and carry them over into my professional development pretty much constantly. I try to know my numbers as much as humanly possible. A good piece of advice I received not too long ago was always know your numbers, know where you're going, know where you're going to be in 5 years, so you don't run into problems 2 months before they show up. Additionally, I've worked in a small community. Eaton Rapids has a population of about 3,600, give or take. And I've worked in larger communities in Jackson where we have a population of 33,000. So I have a good broad base of different skill sets. I haven't focused just on one specific smaller community versus a larger community versus a medium-sized community. So I try to have that broad skill set. And I've been an elected official before. I understand the pressure that's on a lot of you to make those smart decisions. And I try to understand the viewpoint and try to bring you all of the necessary data that is crucial to all of you to make the right decisions. So I try to understand what most elected officials are looking for and give them all the tools they need to be successful as well.
Thank you.
We have time for one more. Jason, do you have any other questions for the village council?
The only handful of questions I have really had to do with sort of the comprehensive plan and how things are going with that. How closely would you say that things have been, or how well have things been going with the comprehensive plan, and how closely do you as a group try to stick to that or try to follow that as a guide?
Pass that on to Mike. You're pretty much on that comprehensive plan.
I think we've checked off a lot of the short-term goals. Obviously, the larger long-term projects, infrastructure, like you mentioned, is going to be huge. And financing that down the next 10, 15, 20 years. It's not going to be, just Blissfield that's dealing with that. It'll be entire countrywide. But a lot of the small-term projects, I think we've got to focus on, like you had mentioned, maintaining our streets and our sidewalks, trees, things like that, focusing on the economic development. Quality of life, providing the services and continuing the services, with the challenge of the budgets over the past, I'd say since 2008, the governmental money isn't there like it always used to be. So, for continuing to provide the services to the citizens that they expect and that they're used to. Overall, I think we do from time to time take a look back at it, but as a board, we probably could focus more on what are council's intentions, what are the village's intentions, what are the citizens' intentions. So I'd say, we're probably right around at a 7 out of 10 on following that guideline.
Excellent. And then the other question I had was more related to the village's building codes and code compliance and things like that. Is there a program in place? Is it something that the village is looking to work on? Any light you can shine on that?
Well, we have a zoning administrator that handles a lot of the building codes and permits. So who helps out the administrator very much.
Working on RRC too to help update those.
We're working on our
RRC.
thanks.
I would say we do have a good working relationship between our employees, the police department, the police chief, like Bob said, the village administrator, the village zoning administrator. It's a difficult situation because you want to present the village in as positive light as you can, but also not burn people out. People are struggling now in times like this. So you have to find that balance to where, how do we maintain what we have, how we make sure that people are maintaining their buildings, maintaining their properties, but also give them, you know, the slack to say, okay, well, this is understandable because of the times that we're in. But I think overall, we do have a proud sense of community, and the majority of our residents are, you know, take pride in their properties. There's just a few here and there that, you know, we continue to battle, and I think that's like everywhere else.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. We're kind of in the same boat in Eaton Rapids. We have we rolled out a building code right before COVID, you know, a really aggressive building code compliance program. We've kind of eased up a little bit here and there during, you know, the last year or so, mostly, you know, for the same reasons you mentioned. Everybody's kind of in a weird position right now. And so we've tried to be a little bit on the lenient side. There's some things obviously you can't ignore. But yeah, some of the I guess nitpicky stuff, I guess you would say, we've kind of looked hand in hand, tried to help them out a little bit. Do you utilize any of the like curbside grants through MISTA, anything like that?
I don't think we are aware of any kind of a curbside grant.
Okay. Yep. There's a handful of grants out there through CDBG and through MISTA that help out a little bit for residents who own their properties that are current on their taxes that have code violations. It's like siding and windows and things like that, and roofing, obviously. Little stuff like sidewalks and trees and stuff doesn't really fall under that, but there's some really good tools out there that are available to help out with some of the residents for code compliance and things like that. And then there's some other tools through the MEDC for business owners that they can utilize to help with their buildings as well.
All right, Jason, I would like to thank you for applying for our position. And I would like to thank you for being here today. And we'll definitely be in touch with you one way or the other.
Excellent. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
It's gonna go slow a little bit. Something on, okay, it's got a little stronger. Let's do it. It's the top two. Nothing to see what. Okay, you're looking at little thumbs up
Right.
on the screen. We back on mute. rental car.
You guys, can I ask a quick question? Because they don't know the answer, obviously. Is this material, when we write on it, does anybody receive a look at this material? I'm just asking because what I'm writing on here. Okay, so nobody's gonna be collecting these papers. That's all I need to know. I'm just curious because I'm making my little notes here. Katie's not ready, guys ready?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you.
Village President Bob Valdez, the first question, Blissful Village Council is interested in getting to know you this afternoon. Please take a couple minutes and tell us about yourself, both professionally and personally.
Yeah, so I have three main passions in life. My first is learning, and I'm not just talking about my degrees from Grand Valley or Penn State, but I have a natural curiosity about the world, and I seek to learn everything that I can find. And so I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of researching, and I just love learning. My second is community. Obviously, my very first community of my family. I grew up in a multi-generational household and am incredibly close to all of my extended family. But I'm also talking about my professional community as well. You know, I've spent the last couple of years really getting to know a huge network of public administrators and city managers around the country, and participating in them in like cohorts and professional development, and also serving on some committees as well. And the communities that I live and work in. And I love to be a part of communities. I'm so excited. Before I even look at applying for a job, I ask myself, do I want to live here? And what would I do when I live there? Where would I take my grandma antique shopping? And where would I go kayaking and things like that? And I ask myself those questions because every community that I've lived in, all variety of them across the state, I have volunteered, I have participated in their arts community, lots of community theater, and I have loved to get to know my neighbors. And finally, that really brings me into my last passion, which is public service. There was never any career for me other than something in public service. And I really take my passion for learning, and I take my passion for building better communities. And it makes me a dedicated public servant, and I want to grow communities to meet the needs of the individual community members.
Thank you.
Hi, Catherine. I'm Gwen Newsome. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
If you were an elected village trustee, what would be your top two goals for Blissfield?
Absolutely. So I think the very first one is that, you know, I've gone through a lot of your different documents and watched meetings and had some great conversations with staff members as well, with Heather and with Brandon over email. And I talked to Tim Robinson over at Lenawee Now and Lisa. And the first one that really comes to mind is a focus on proactivity and strategic planning, and really guiding these strategic plans together, you know, putting together an annual goals, but also putting together, making sure that all of our other strategic plans feed into the main strategic plan, right? And that we get our comprehensive capital improvements plan and our master plan and our rec plan and our economic development plan, and that all of those are relating back to each other to form one big strategic plan. And also with that, that those strategic plans are reflected in the budget. I know that you guys are in the process of updating some of your budget policies and procedures right now. And I talked about this a little bit in my portfolio that I shared, but I would really love to maybe work with Brandon on some policies that would explicitly tie our budget to these strategic planning goals so that we have a more comprehensive financial vision that is reflective of the goals that we have. I think secondarily, another big goal that I would have is to work on the RRC stuff and really set us up for success with that. I have been very involved in RRC in my current community, and have really enjoyed the process of helping to get communities to that point where we are able to just utilize all of the wonderful things that RRC sets us up for. In addition, in my portfolio that I sent, I did include a 6-month plan that has some other goals as well, based on what I've learned so far.
Thank you.
Catherine, I'm Mike Gunter. If you would please share your proudest professional accomplishment.
Yeah, so I would think I would say my proudest professional accomplishment has actually been the fellowship that I'm currently doing right now. So my fellowship is through the Michigan Municipal Executives, which is through the state chapter of ICMA. And I was chosen by a panel of city managers to participate and to be paired with the city of Wayland to work with them for a year and learn from them. And so that's been a great experience. I've gotten a lot of great information and I've really gotten to practice some of my skills that I've been learning.
Thank you.
Hi, Kate. I'm Barb McHenry. Since being notified that you were a finalist for this position, what have you done to get to know Blissfield better?
Yeah, so I alluded to this a little bit, but I've watched lots of meetings. I have gone through a lot of different documents, the personnel handbook and the comprehensive plan and the DDA plan and all of these things. And I also had some really wonderful conversations with staff. So I communicated with Brandon a bit. I talked to Heather and Lisa, and I also talked to Tim Robinson over at Lenawee Now about the Valero plant and the ways in which we might be able to get some brownfield grants for that site or for some of our other brownfield sites as well. And I've visited twice and I've just really instantly felt at home.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Jerry Hayes. Please share your relevant municipal experience that you believe would make you an ideal candidate to lead our community.
Absolutely. Well, you can see in my resume that I've done a lot of different municipal projects, but more so than that, I have been very intense and intentional about my learning up until this point. Actually, I know it sounds crazy, but I have done over 500 hours of professional development this year in both technical skills and leadership skills, and really learning the different ways in which I can be a better manager and be a better administrator for whatever community I end up with. And not only have I been able to learn some great skills from that, but I have also been able to build a really wide network of city managers from across the country that are experts in their field and that I know I can rely on to answer questions. And so that learning, that drive for learning, combined with the numerous experiences that I've had in every area of municipal management, really makes me a great candidate.
Thank you.
Hi, Catherine. This is James Edson. Teamwork is an important component of a successful organization. Please share with us the last time you went above and beyond to foster teamwork in your organization.
You know, so I'm going to use an example actually from my role as our president of our student chapter for ICMA. So actually, one of the things that we really wanted to do is work as a large team. And so we worked with 2 other schools to set up a mini conference for students to help teach them about local government. And so we had this project. We actually had 116 people from around the world attend. And we had over 60 managers attend also that kind of were there to provide information. We had 9 professional organizations. It was a huge event. And it was definitely something, it started out as oh, wouldn't it be fun if we got our chapters together for an afternoon, and turned into a really big project. I love to collaborate. I think that that's the most important thing that we can do as a community. I actually wrote my thesis on collaboration. Really, there's very few things that we can't accomplish without being together.
Thank you.
Helping to create a stronger economic base and a continued vibrant downtown are critical to Blissfield. Please share your overall experience in economic development and downtown relations.
Absolutely. So I've been working pretty extensively in the economic development field this year, not only for Wayland and for my other internships, but I've also gotten to help teach a class on economic development as well, and really impart some of these skills. And so when it comes to economic development, it's really important that it's mostly retention, it's a little bit attraction. And so what I would love to do projects wise with economic development is to work on ways to make our small business community more vibrant. You guys have an incredibly vibrant small business community, but give them some tools to help them lead. I actually recently led a grant workshop for the American Rescue Plan for our small businesses in Wayland, helping them to connect to some of these grant opportunities. In addition to things like, there's some cool apps that allow businesses to sell online that might be interesting to look at. I'd also love to look at an entrepreneurship program where we might have some retiring business leaders who might want to pass on the mantle to somebody else, but need an entrepreneur to be matched with. And so things like that, working on our retention, but also working on our attraction when it comes to RRC and the brownfield sites that you have, and finding grants for those projects and getting them redevelopment ready so that when a business does come, they will have a place to go.
Thank you. Fast forward to May 20th, 2024. You have now been our village administrator for the past 3 years. What would a successful 3-year period look like to you?
Yeah, a successful 3-year period to me will look like that we are being very proactive about what we do and very transparent. There have been projects, I think, in the past that maybe due to a lack of proactivity, maybe didn't go as well as hoped. And I would really hope to turn that around and bring a very proactive focus and a very strategic focus to everything that we do. So in 3 years, I would love to see the RRC program completed, the wastewater treatment plan upgrades almost completed or completed, and really just on a more successful path. And so that Blissfield can be a successful community. I talked about this a little bit in my plan that I sent you guys, but another thing that I would love to do is also some longer term strategic planning so that we can develop a vision past this year. And that would be part of that as well, that to set some of those goals for 2024.
Thank you.
The Blissfield Village Council is seeking an administrator who will consider our community their home. We hope that you will be seen as an important part of our community fabric. Please share your current community involvement or your after-hours volunteerism.
Yeah, so community, as I mentioned in the beginning, is one of my great passions, and I don't even consider applying for a job until I know that I know that I want to live there. So currently, I'm very active in, like I mentioned, a lot of professional development, a lot of committee work, working on helping make municipal government a better place. I volunteer. I've not been volunteering as much with COVID, obviously, but I'm hoping to get back into that in the future. I actually volunteered about 400 hours in high school alone. And so I love to volunteer. I'd love to get involved with Rotary and things like that again. And I've also been very involved in our arts community. I do a lot of community theater as well as educating kids about community theater through directing our middle school musicals. And so I would love to do that as well. Or, be involved in the arts community in Blissfield.
Okay, thank you.
Catherine, this is your opportunity to take the next few minutes to tell us why we should select you and why you're the right fit to lead Blissfield.
Yeah, so it really just comes back to the 3 passions that I mentioned in the beginning. When it comes to learning, I talked a little bit about how much professional development I do, but I am pretty sure that no other candidate has trained as intensely as I have for this position and has taken the time to learn as much about your community. And so when it comes to learning, when I don't know, I find out, and I love to find out more. when it comes to community, I'm someone who's going to live there. I'm going to, I've already written down what time Rotary is and what time when the library summer program starts and when the aquatic classes are down at your new aquatic center. And I'm so excited to take part in those events and take part in the festivals that you guys have. And like I said earlier, bring my grandma to the antique shops and things like that. And then when it comes to public service, that, this is not just a job for me, it's a calling. And I value the work that I do incredibly because I want to make government a more accessible and transparent place. And I want people to have a government that works for them and with them and provides for their needs throughout their process, throughout their lives. And so that's really why I think I would be a great fit for you guys. Is I'm not going to be a manager on the sidelines. I'm going to be a manager who involves myself and really comes back to that calling to public service in everything that I do.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, actually, I was wondering if there were any concerns or questions that you had about my candidacy that I could help address.
I don't know if we can ask those kind of questions right now, Catherine, and that would be because simply that we didn't ask those same questions to the other candidates. So it would be best if you had any particular questions for us at this time.
Okay, I don't really have any right now.
That's cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to apply for the position. Thanks for taking time this afternoon, and we'll be in touch with you one way or the other.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was get hurt. I left my phone on the desk. Can you go fetch it? Put it away.
Are we good at least?
You guys, I think I can ask this question about Katie, just for clarification. If I'm understanding from her information here, she is a fellow right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and she's also a grad assistant, and both of those are happening at the same time, is that correct? That's how I see it in her paperwork.
It could be. She did say she taught some classes.
Yeah, so
So
maybe that's what, okay. Gotcha, that, just kind of curious. Thanks.
But at the same time, she's teaching online.
Yeah.
Makes it very doable.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Well, we have a few minutes, you guys. Here's my next question for all of us. So is it your understanding that we're going to talk as a team about these candidates
Afterwards.
afterwards?
Yes, right, yes.
Okay, and so is when we talk with everybody afterwards amongst ourselves, is this amongst ourselves or is this part of the
It's all
public?
part of the
It's
public,
open.
it has to be part of the public meeting. And then we will make a motion, I think, on who our final,
Okay,
he suggested 3, I think.
Okay.
2 or 3.
2 or 3, okay, gotcha, okay. So all of that remains public as well? Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Lisa. Well, just keep looking at your direction.
Trying to understand.
No, I'm glad that you did.
I didn't know how it worked, so.
I knew that he had suggested the 2 to 3 people. Okay. Now, we don't have a date or anything for that.
No,
that
we'll talk about that. We can talk about that.
Gotcha.
Afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
June 13th.
Hey, how are things going? How many people do you have on Saturday?
I have 40 spaces.
40 spaces?
40 spaces.
Barb, did someone tell you today?
There'll be a lot of squirrels running
Yeah,
around.
someone
That's
talked
for
to
sure. That's good.
2 calls.
Hey, Holly.
Yeah, that is great.
Oh, I'm being called the head squirrel now.
You're the head squirrel?
Yeah.
Is, do you know, how are you going to mark out the spaces, or what are you having to do for all that?
We're gonna have to, we were planning on it
Because you don't even have.
No, but we've got this person, many who have 1 space, but then a bunch that have 2 spaces. 2 that want 3 spaces, 1
You
that
don't even have
wants,
that many parking spaces
4.
downtown. Where are you putting everybody?
They only get 10 by 10.
Yeah.
So you got 2 spaces in a parking space.
Okay. And then now you guys have food trucks coming down as well.
Not a truck anymore.
Okay.
The food trucks I had scheduled backed out.
I understand.
But Bowling Alley wanted to know why we didn't contact them to have them come down, and we're like, well, we didn't know you took food out, you know?
Oh,
Now we
good
do, because they're going to grill hamburgers right there. They're gonna have pizza by the slice, and they're gonna have pulled pork.
No kidding. Well, how nice for them.
So it's all turned out really good.
Okay, and the weather's supposed to be great.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Toasty.
90.
Toasty.
I feel a little toasty, yeah.
So I've been telling everybody to bring their umbrellas.
Bring a beer.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
know
selling
that.
those.
Oh, he's gonna sell beer on his porch.
We could do that. Big sign, they come across the street with that.
No lemonade at your house.
We'll sell that too. I don't know.
What time does this run, Saturday?
10 to 4.
You know, I'd be interested to see if there are any real black squirrels running around.
Down
There's
here,
plenty of them in town.
I know.
I think you should catch some and let them run loose through the middle.
Or catch them and we can put them on a leash. And
Oh, really?
be there.
What, did you like my squirrel imitation?
I did. Which way do I go? Which way do we go?
Right.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's funny.
We've gotten a lot of joking about black squirrel.
Who is the person that's helping you? Melissa, that's what I thought. Well, my dad, is back downtown, or he will bring his place down.
No,
He is, that's what I thought, okay. I gotta talk to him tonight.
Bob's gonna set up, he and the sister and the daughter.
Oh, how
We're gonna
nice.
set up a police station.
I saw him out there, okay. I just got stuff in the police station and I want to sell it. Okay, I got
I
this.
mean, they've got bigger stuff.
Oh, yeah, they may. I want to sell my kitchen table, so.
I met this school teacher over the winter, and he was from New York, Mike, and he, they've never seen black squirrels. Really? Right. So they went to the Bronx Zoo to see a black squirrel.
And then those.
And so when I came home, I took a bunch of pictures, black squirrels everywhere, and I took them back and they were like, what?
What was your story again? Say your story.
I met a school teacher from New York over the winter, and he had taken his students to the Bronx Zoo because they've never seen a black squirrel. So I came home and took a bunch of pictures. Here's a black squirrel. We got them all over our town.
We got one over on Gypsum with a red tail.
A black squirrel with a red tail?
Yeah, I have one with blonde and red over my head.
Yeah.
Oh, there's little, okay, little squirrels.
Sure, that's not a skunk.
No, I'm sure.
You know what's wild is out there,
It does like.
That'd be
taste.
you over there. I ran him off Looney Tunes. Wandered around Blissfield.
You know, we don't have any squirrels out there, our subdivision, no squirrels,
Really?
nothing.
You guys might have, well, you have some big trees out there. don't
Yeah,
you?
but no squirrels. Now there's possums, you know, with that little possum, you know, that happens, but no squirrels out in our area.
I'll send some over.
I wish you would.
I gotta know.
They'd be kind of entertaining.
Giant nest in that tree out behind my house.
Okay, the nests are those, they kind of hang from the branches, right?
This one's right, there's a hole in the tree.
They're inside.
Yeah, they bury inside the hole.
No kidding.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I've ever seen. A lot of them live in dead trees. Live in dead trees, did not know that. Squirrels, I don't know a whole lot about squirrels. Do not know. I call my kids squirrels. Hey, squirrels. And they're like, oh, yeah. And there's a song you can't call them. Brown squirrel, shake your bushy tail. You should see the kids shake their bushy tail.
But this is recording for YouTube.
Brown squirrel, shake your bushy tail. So many kids say they go, what an idiot. Hey Jan, how are you? Just trying to get it unmuted again.
I'm hanging in there. Came home from the hospital Friday, so I'm still trying to get things around.
Good to see you, sir.
I would say it's nice to see you at home versus that hospital bed.
Yeah, 21 days.
Good. You know, I would be eating ice cream if I were you to make your throat feel better. Ice cream, lots of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, but I can't take anything in my mouth because I'm shut off.
Oh, gotcha.
So, gotta take everything.
Yeah,
But then,
I just said yes, I understand.
Take it off.
yeah, it's a bummer. I cheer like a pork chop.
Sure, like a pork chop. You want me to bring you a pork chop?
I love one.
Hi Frank, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see all of you too.
Thank you, Brandon. You too.
Can I get 20 backpacks? 20 of them.
Outdoor restrictions are lifted in June 1st and July 1st for I think indoors.
Number gatherings. Also.
Yep.
I had.
Everything lifted July 1st. All orders.
Say it again.
All orders listed by July 1st. Lifted by.
Lifted
July
by. Okay. I was hoping for school.
Well, all outdoor have been lifted as of June 1st, right? And the indoor is at 50% capacity until July 1st.
Okay.
Magic. I just want to go to the live shows again.
Yeah. Me too. That's all I feel looking through concerts like coming up.
This is shows. Yep.
see if you have the paper yesterday that, Ida's gonna have their Christmas night. They got that?
Oh, good. They got pretty big
Yeah, they got,
singer. Who's that coming?
Tracy Bird,
That's right.
Tracy Bird, do the watermelon crawl.
In December?
Right,
Yes.
you can relax a little bit now.
Okay. Yeah, I got one too. Go ahead.
Drops out. Corn.
Let's see, let's
See, Elton John's farewell tour. I'd like to go to that in
That's right,
February, next February.
that's right. How high,
Farewell, yeah.
how high you think those tickets are gonna go?
I see they're in the 200s now.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of like one of those old club shows, you get in for like $10. It's like cheap, just because they're more into.
I was just gonna say that one intimate, but I didn't know if I should.
There's a cranberry and vodka with his pinky.
Grant, Gary. An umbrella.
No. No.
We're ready.
You're taking it down for me?
All right. Look at that big nail.
Double A, double A.
Oh, you have double A battery.
Just one. Okay.
Yeah, sounds that.
$358.
Frank, I don't know if you're ready for me. I was surprised that I popped right into the meeting, so.
Yeah. They're gonna get started in just a second.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Darwin.
Hello.
I'm Bob Valdez, village president.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. The Blissfield Village Council is interested in getting to know you this afternoon. Please take a couple of minutes to tell us about yourself, both personally and professionally.
Okay. First of all, Your Honor, members of council, thank you so much for this opportunity and for your consideration. I very much appreciate it. On a personal level, I'm a native Detroiter, born and raised in Oakland County, born in what is now Rochester Hills. It was Avon Township at the time. Grew up in Rochester and Oxford, graduated from Oxford High School. Went on to complete my Bachelor of Arts degree in Human Services with a concentration in Public Administration at Siena Heights College, now University in Adrian. And then later worked on my master's degree most of it at Oakland University in Rochester, but finished up at Golden Gate University, where I received my Master of Public Administration degree. I have more than 30 years of experience as a city and village manager here in Michigan for communities, both small and large, I should say larger, ranging in size from as small as 1,300 population all the way up to 34,000 in population. I have varied experience with communities that are affluent and communities that were financially distressed and everything in between. So I've had a wide spectrum of management experience in the municipal sector. I come from a large family. I am one of 11 siblings, and so that provides its own unique experience. So, but my family and I currently live up in Waterford, Michigan, and my husband and we have 4 sons, 3 of whom live in Ypsilanti. Our youngest, who as of this week is living at home with us, but he got his new apartment, so he's moving in this weekend into his own place. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of background on me.
Thank you.
Hi, Darwin, I'm Gwen Dusa. If you were an elected village trustee, what would be your top 2 goals for Blissfield?
I'm sorry, could you ask that question again?
I will be glad to. If you were an elected village trustee, what would be your top 2 goals for Blissfield?
Oh, that's an interesting question. As an elected trustee, I think the top 2 goals would be maintaining financial stability for the village and creating a sense of place for the community. We in Blissfield, the village has been struggling for a long time financially, and maybe later some questions may come up about that, and I can go into more detail. But it is important that Blissfield continue to make decisions that promote the financial stability of the village as a municipal government, so that we can continue to maintain and provide high quality services to citizens as cost effectively as possible. But the other thing is to continue to work on creating a sense of identity, a sense of place for the community. Blissfield has a beautiful historic downtown. I think in many respects, the business community is struggling to try to find its identity as a downtown, as a business sector, and continuing to build on that and incorporate the wonderful natural features that we have running through our community, together with social justice and environmental protection and the economic assets that we have to create a sustainable community and a community with a sense of identity.
Thank you.
And Darwin, it's Mike. If you would share with the board your proudest professional accomplishment.
My proudest professional accomplishment would have to be, I could point to city halls and village halls that I built, but I think one of my proudest accomplishments was something that happened to me when I was city manager in Ypsilanti. I had just started as city manager there, and the council had decided that they were going to display the pride flag for the LGBTQ community on our only flagpole that happened to be at the police department. And we had a group of people who had come out the previous year when the flag was flown, and they were demonstrating. And the mayor leaned over to me as we're standing in front of the police department and said to me, you know, they're opposed to the LGBTQ community and they don't want the flag flying on the pole. And I thought that was a little funny for a community like Ypsilanti that appeared to be progressive, more progressive. So I walked out to that group of people and I engaged in a conversation with them. And it turned out that they were not at all opposed to the pride flag. What they were opposed to was the fact that in order for the city to have to display the pride flag, we had to remove the American flag because there were only enough hooks for one flag on that pole. And it was an eye-opener for me. And so I went back and I told the mayor and I told our police chief what the issue was. Our police chief said, hold on, I can take care of this. He ran down to the local hardware store, got some extra hooks. So we were able to continue flying the American flag above the pride flag. And when we did that, that group of people applauded and they stayed for the ceremony for the raising of the LGBTQ pride flag. And they ended up hugging all of us as a result of it. It was an amazing moment. And that is probably one of my my proudest moments.
Thank you.
Hi, Darwin. This is Barb McHenry. Since being notified that you are a finalist for this position, what have you done to get to know the community, the Blissfield community?
Well, of course, I am already somewhat familiar with the community because of my work here on an interim basis in terms of walking around downtown, driving through the community, working with staff here. But also some other things that have helped me to prepare for this interview include reviewing and knowledge of the village's financial statements going back several years, our audit reports, the budget, being familiar with the village's comprehensive plan, the Parks and Recreation plan, I want to say I'm familiar with the DDA TIF plan, but that was adopted in 1992 and it's seriously outdated. So the DDA is working hard to try to get that updated. But so just doing a lot of research. Of course, we've got some major projects going on. We've got the wastewater treatment plant improvement project that is in the works now. So I'm very familiar with that project and the details of the improvements that are being made there. Reviewing some of our other studies that have been done. We did studies a few years ago on the pedestrian bridges and the improvements that needed to be done there. Some of them have been done. Some of them still need to be done. The water treatment plant improvement needs that are still outstanding. What else? Trying to think of some other documents that I've looked at, but I'm drawing a blank at this point. But the aquatic center that we just opened, we're just beginning to open, hopefully for a full season this year, and dealing with that project. So there are a lot of things just because of my interim work I'm already familiar with, but also reviewing other plans and documents and financial statements.
Hi, Darwin. This is Jerry Hayes. Please share your relevant municipal experience that you believe would make you an ideal candidate to lead our community.
Well, I think the depth and breadth of my experience in a variety of communities with varying histories and backgrounds make me an excellent candidate because I think every one of those experiences has provided me with a wealth of knowledge, expertise, and experience in municipal management. But especially my experience in managing other villages. This is the first community that I've worked with that is a general law village. My experience has been managing villages that are home rule villages. But the practices and the legal framework really isn't all that different between the General Law Village Act and village home rule charters. They're very similar, other than the fact that the General Law Village Act allows us to do some things much more streamlined and easier processes than you would have in a home rule charter. But so I would say the variety of my experience, but also my experience in managing smaller communities, small cities, but especially small villages.
Thank you.
Hi, Darwin. This is James. Teamwork is an important component of a successful organization. Please share with us the last time you went above and beyond to foster teamwork in your organization.
Well, as a manager, I believe very strongly that teamwork is essential to getting things done. The manager or administrator is, I think the most effective administrator is one that is a facilitator, a collaborator, a coach, a mentor, and there has to be an understanding that things get done only when you have an entire team that is doing their part to get things done. The manager doesn't, or administrator doesn't accomplish anything on his or her own. There have been many instances over my 30 plus years of experience where teamwork has been essential. And just pointing out one, we had a $5 million city hall construction project that took all of us working together to get done because we were demolishing our old city hall on the same site that we were going to be building our new city hall. And so we had to actually do 4 moves to make that happen. And everybody working together from packing things up to designing our temporary workspaces, to working on the design of the city hall itself, of the new city hall, was a collaborative team effort. And it was, I don't want to say it was flawless, But the project went very smoothly. The project came in just under budget. And that is because of the hard work of so many people working together.
Thank you. Helping to create a stronger economic base and a continued vibrant downtown are critical to Blissfield. Please share your overall experience in economic development and downtown relations.
Sure. In my many years of experience, I've worked with almost all of the tools that the state provides to municipalities for economic development, from industrial facilities tax abatements and plant rehabilitation tax abatements in the industrial areas, and personal property tax abatements, to local development finance authorities, downtown development authorities, tax increment finance authorities. In Ypsilanti, we were a partner with the city of Ann Arbor on the smart zone. We had a combined smart zone in LDFA. Downtown, specifically in Lake Orion, the village of Lake Orion, I worked on commercial rehabilitation tax abatements, commercial redevelopment tax abatements. Our DDA, just like in Blissfield, was a Main Street community, and also a redevelopment ready community. So I've had work with those programs as well. And in Lake Orion, we were very successful because we had an historic downtown, just like in Blissfield, in generating several $1 million in new commercial development. We had to get a little creative in doing that. We had to look at our zoning code and decide that 3 stories may not be appropriate for some types of development. Some of our developers wanted to go up 4 stories to build mixed use developments with higher scale apartments on the upper levels and retail and dining establishments on the first levels. So we got creative. We did some changes to our zoning code, and we were able to attract some businesses, some restaurants from Royal Oak and Ferndale to establish new restaurants in our downtown area.
Thank you. Fast forward to May 20th, 2024. You have now been our village administrator for the past 3 years. What would a successful 3-year period look like to you?
I think a successful 3-year period would be a vibrant downtown with 95% of our buildings, commercial buildings, active. A revitalized industrial district. The industrial area of the community is struggling. Blissfield manufacturing, as you know, is a concern for the community as well as some of the other industrial buildings. So a revitalized industrial sector, a community that has a clear sense of place, a clear identity, a community that is more connected. Not that Blissfield isn't already connected in many ways, but a more connected citizenry, a more connected public to its government, a greater emphasis on our natural assets, pulling the River Raisin into our downtown economic activity and making that an integral part of our downtown area, because right now there is a little bit of a disconnectedness with that. A staff that is highly motivated, committed, and dedicated to the organization and to the community. We've got great staff here. But our staff have some concerns, and we need to work on those concerns. We need to address them. We need to be lifting our employees up and letting them know that they are a great team and they've got a wonderful future with us, and start to allay some of the fears and concerns that some of our employees have. I think a strong relationship and open communication between council and administration is vitally important, and a sense of team between council and administration, so that we are all working together toward the same goal, which is to provide the best services we can as cost effectively as possible.
Thank you.
The Blissfield Village Council is seeking an administrator who will consider our community their home. We hope you will be seen as an important part of our community fabric. Please share your current community involvement or after hours volunteerism.
So that has been a little difficult these past several months with the situation that I have right now. But in the past, I like to volunteer in areas where I can be of the most benefit to my community. So in Ferndale, when I lived in Ferndale, I volunteered to serve on the Civil Service Commission. I was a member, then vice chair, and then ultimately chair of the Ferndale Civil Service Commission. I've also served on my homeowners association board. I've volunteered for community cleanups in previous communities that I've worked in. Let me see. Those are some of the examples. I'm drawing a blank on other things, but
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Darwin, this is your opportunity to take the next 2 minutes and tell us why we should select you and why you're the right fit to lead Blissfield.
Oh, well, not really being familiar with the other candidates, I'm not sure I'm in a position to say why I'm the best. You know, one of the other candidates may be better than me. But I will say that a reason why I should be considered for the position is because of my years of experience, my expertise in municipal management, my familiarity with this area, and having studied down here in Adrian, I am familiar with this area and with Blissfield. My passion for municipal government, for municipal management, my ethics and integrity, I will never compromise those. I adhere strongly to high ethical standards in the ICMA Code of Ethics. And also my what I call my organizational values for municipal excellence. trust, quality, innovation, individualism, teamwork, a future orientation in decision-making, and effective public service. All of those values that I hold dear as a municipal manager, I think would serve the village of Blissfield well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darwin, for applying for the position.
Thank you so much for your consideration, and good luck to you on the rest of your process.
And we will be in touch with you one way or the other.
All right, thank you so much. And Frank, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Darwin. Almost.
Good afternoon, Anthony.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm Bob Valdez. I'll have the first question for you, Village President. The Blissful Village Council is interested in getting to know you this afternoon. please take a couple of minutes to tell us about yourself personally and professionally.
Well, yeah, well, definitely welcome. Thank you for having me. So my name is Anthony Araki. I currently work in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, which is a inner ring suburb of the city of Milwaukee. And I am originally from Michigan. I have family in West Michigan, and I had some extended family on the east side of the state as well, too. And I've recently been exploring options to return to the state. The majority of my experience is in parks and recreation. However, I'm interested in a career in civil service as a general career as well, too. And so knowing that there are director jobs out there, but there's also administrative jobs out there, it's something that I began to explore as I navigated the ever-changing landscape of job hunting, searching, career development in a post-COVID environment. And so, knowing that Blissfield is, in the state of Michigan, where I'm from originally, knowing that it is a smaller community, which I grew up in Coldwater, Michigan, which itself is a small community, something that I actually appreciate. And I enjoyed being there. And then it's proximity to metro areas as well. It's proximity to Cleveland, proximity to Lansing, proximity to Detroit was something that interested me. And so I thought that, as one would, maybe something might be outside their initial wheelhouse, but it's worth a shot to see if it's something that could work out for you. And so that's what landed me here today. And I'm excited to speak with all of you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Hi there, Anthony. I'm Gwen Dusa. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
If you were an elected village trustee, what would be your 2 top goals for Blissfield?
Well, I know that there is the opportunity for development within your aquatic center. And I feel like anytime that you offer something new that's new like that, it's always an opportunity to really grow and expand as a focal point there. When I worked in Coldwater, Michigan, we actually closed our seasonal outdoor pool and we filled it in and turned it into a splash pad. And then there was the opportunity to develop an aquatic center and open it, which has become a focal point of the community there. And so through that recreation programming, through building around it, through the opportunity to expand lessons and programs and swim teams, I think that that's a great asset to the community, especially when drawing individuals there. Another thing that I might consider long-term would be proximity to metro areas, the fact that more people are working remote these days, and that individuals might be seeking, to move to a community that is smaller, more accessible, a community that still has access to metro areas, but a lower cost of living as well, too. And so how do you attract talent? How do you retain talent? How do you take a look at your community demographic and think, what is the future of Blissfield? What would those individuals look like? And if people can live anywhere and work anywhere, how would we develop a community that was enticing for them to come to us as a means of economic development for what we currently have?
All righty, thank you.
Hi, Anthony, I'm Mike Gunter. Thanks for being here. If you would share with us your proudest professional accomplishment.
So my proudest professional accomplishment has definitely been the response to the pandemic this past year. It's something that, working in parks and recreation, we are forward facing. We have a large focus on the health and wellness of our community. And so the response towards open spaces, green spaces, and programming that met people where they were in an effort to care for their social and emotional and physical health and well-being. And so if that was through offering more programs that were mitigated with risk, if that was through offering programs where we could meet people virtually, we ran a number of senior grab and go lunches, virtual recreation fitness programs for seniors. And we were able to really maintain our leagues and our aquatics and our football and all of our programs, which I know that is a bit different from the state of Michigan for what I've seen. Our COVID responses have not paralleled each other, whereas Wisconsin's been much more open. But my experience with risk management, anytime there was something where there could have been a potential challenge, the health department always classified it as their exact words, sorry, it's meeting me for the moment, but like a near possible exposure, basically saying people should monitor if something comes up, but because of all our mitigation, we were able to effectively and safely administer those programs. And so I think just our response there, the community has responded very positively to it. We've maintained our sense of community. We've been able to meet people and help them achieve their social and emotional, physical health and well-being goals through what we have seen as a very challenging time. And so that was something I'm very proud of, up to this point.
Thank you.
Hi, Anthony. I'm Barb McHenry. Since being notified that you are a finalist for this position, what have you done to get to know the Blissfield community?
So being in the state of Wisconsin, a lot of what I've been able to do has been virtual and remote. And so I have spent time on your website, I have spent time on your social media, just taking a look and seeing what you have going. I have some experience with the Village of Brown Deer here in Wisconsin, which was similar in time in terms of size and scope. And so if it was a matter of just taking a look at some of your meeting agenda notes or just seeing what you have in place, but really trying to understand what was parallel to my experience growing up. And so I haven't lived in a smaller community in quite some time since I went off to college. And so for me, just, the adjustment to going from a metro urban area back to something that is, more like rural, small town. And in that sense, just trying to get a sense of who lived there, reading your demographic statistics. What was your median home income? What was your medium, house value? What was your medium makeup? Was it predominantly families, young adults, seniors? What did that look like? And just trying to understand the culture as best I could without actually being present.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Anthony, this is Jerry Hayes. If you would please share your relevant municipal experience that you believe would make you an ideal candidate to lead our community.
So it does go back to my experience in Parks and Recreation, and I have experience that is twofold, actually. So something that is interesting about Southeast Wisconsin is that much of our recreation and community education is through school districts. And so working in, Whitefish Bay, it's a smaller one Main Street, type community, and being able to work with the village and with the school district in tandem to offer programs, engage the community, I think is something that really is a strength of mine. And then also when I was in Brown Deer, we were more traditional there, where it was something that, the Park and Rec department was primarily through Village Hall. But we still worked with the school district to use their space and their facilities. And so understanding how, these two halves make a very big whole, how, City Hall, Village Hall works with the school district to really impact the entirety of the community, and having internal experience on both sides of that, I think makes me a strong candidate because I know how those two can work together in tandem. I know typically what both sides are bringing to the table, what their concerns are, what their strengths are, what the areas are that they want to make sure they focus on and where their needs are met. And I don't know that everybody always has that. People tend to either take a path through public service that leads them either through, public administration or school administration.
Thank you.
Hi, Anthony, this is James Eisen. Teamwork is an important component of a successful organization. Please share with us the last time you went above and beyond to foster teamwork in your organization.
So I replaced a gentleman within my organization who had been here for quite some time, and he retired. And he was a much more, in the traditional sense, very paper focused. It wasn't quite as comfortable with technology as maybe I was. And then there was also an admin assistant who was also in a very similar place. And then my supervisor who is in the middle. And so I feel like for me coming into my position and just seeing like what needed to happen, especially with how quickly things were changing with COVID over the past year, and that, going into this remote environment where we wouldn't be in the office, we would be working from home, but still under the expectation to deliver at a capacity that we would if we were in the office. It was an opportunity for me to really utilize, we use a G Suite, the Google Suite where I work currently. And so I was able to, before we left, kind of knowing that something was coming, move as many of our processes virtually as I could and start showing them where these items were housed, how everything talked to one another, how we could share documents, and how we could really work collaboratively in a virtual environment, as opposed to what we were more used to in a traditional environment where we housed all of our documents and everything just on our own computers, and we met more face to face. And so I think that that change really made us more of an effective team. We communicated more, we talked more, we collaborated much more, and we brought that back when we were able to come back into the office and to maintain that and keep it up. And so it's something that's kind of shifted the operational fabric of my department, simply taking everything into that, where now, we are much more comfortable and we're much more efficient. And now others are actually creating their own forms and processes and documents and sharing them with me, so that we can share that with the community and make it easier for them as well too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Helping to create a stronger economic base and a continued vibrant downtown are critical to Blissfield. Please share your overall experience in economic development and downtown relations.
So my experience in economic development, when working through recreation, we have a very powerful marketing tool. We have a guide that gets mailed and gets sent to every single house. And I've always utilized that as an effective way to build small business in the areas that I lived and that I operated. It's expensive to market, and it's expensive, to sponsor different things and get your name out there. It's a budget that a lot of people have, and then they don't maybe effectively have the extensive of the means to reach the capacity that we can reach. And so I would utilize the marketing guide to go to small businesses and say, hey, what is something you do that's very introductory, very on the 101 level? What if it's something that we can maybe put together a program that shares that information, and then we put that in our program guide, and then we effectively use that to get it sent out to every household in the area, and then bring people into the doors, either your doors if you prefer, or you can use our community center as well too. And so I think that utilizing, the recreation, the bringing people together, the social component of it to build out small businesses, I think is very important. Also, I feel that, there's power in parks and green space and open space and bringing people together in that capacity as well. And so I feel, to go back what I talked to you before about individuals who can live and work anywhere, maybe seeking a different life, and looking at a place like Blissfield and saying, okay, so how can I come? How can I live there? What amenities I might be, used to, or amenities that I might want? And then what could I also maybe potentially shift and open up locally as well? There's a lot of talent that is compacted into the urban areas that you could draw from by enhancing and selling a quality of life and marketing that quality of life. And that's not to displace individuals that are there, but it's more to accentuate the positives of what exists and help build up those businesses, and then think long-term how that could build and continue upon it and make it a great place for people to live and people to potentially come to as well, which can help, it'd be great if somebody that had a storefront downtown got to the point where they needed to expand, but it's a matter of getting people there initially.
Thank you. Fast forward to May 20th, 2024. You have been our village administrator for the past 3 years. What would a successful 3-year period look like to you?
I think that the biggest benchmark of success would be having the trust of the community and gaining that trust through a series of actions and decisions and engagements and community input and listening sessions where members or residents of Blissfield felt that they knew that decisions I was making would be in their best interest. They knew that the decisions I was making came with their voice attached to it. I mean, whether they agree or disagree, they still had a chance to be heard. But ultimately, that the majority would trust that I was making decisions for the best interests of the community. And so, you could say any number of benchmarks in between physical, tangible things, but I truly feel in a position like this, success looks like much more than just a structure that's built or, a store that was opened or, a complex that was developed. All those things are great, but you can't really do a whole lot of that if your community doesn't trust you. And so whatever 3 years is part of a 5-year plan, getting to that 5-year plan starts with the foundation laying on the front end, and then we can have conversations about how to really make some stuff grow from there.
Thank you.
Anthony, the Blissfield Village Council is seeking an administrator who will consider our community their home. We hope you will be seen as an important part of our community fabric. Please share your current community involvement or after-hours volunteerism.
So in the city of Milwaukee, I'm a volunteer for the Milwaukee County Parks Foundation, which was launched a couple years ago. I serve in a advisory capacity to the county parks as well too, and working with the different friends groups around the area. I am involved with the Sierra Club. I am involved with the Outdoor Alliance for Kids. I do some work with the state DNR. In my past, I have volunteered with the Down Syndrome Association of Wisconsin. I've done similar things to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and then I also give to our state Park and Recreation Association. Currently, I do work with, in my professional capacity, I actually live across the street from the community that I serve, and so I'm active in Whitefish Bay professionally and personally with their civic foundation. And then Glendale, where I do live, I try to give my talent as best I can to, we have like a 4th of July committee and different things. Some of it has kind of slowed down a little bit. But a lot of it is just happening.
Work and it went to some Zoom. It went to some, it said safe driving mode. It thought I was driving, so it wouldn't show me the pictures.
Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm well versed in the hiccups of Zoom, so. I mean, I definitely try to give back as much as I can. It's just some of it is state, local, national. But I would love to be, I mean, obviously moving here, being involved in the community, like 4th of July parades and everything that goes into it. It's service at home, and that's something I enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anthony, we're going to give you the opportunity to take the next 2 minutes and tell us why we should select you and why you're the right fit to lead Blissful.
You know, I'm somebody who has a lot of ideas and a lot of big ideas, and I know a lot of people are probably going to say that. But the difference between me and others is that I have the capacity to make these happen. It's something where, looking forward, thinking of what's innovative, what could be, getting sprung by something or an instance where you think, oh, like this is an opportunity to progress forward or make change or make something adjusted or serve the community in a different way. It's not lip service for me. I put those things into action, and I have success doing that at the local level. I have success doing that at the state level here in Wisconsin. And there's programs I've been a part of through the National Recreation and Park Association that I've enacted at the national level as well too. And so if you're looking for somebody who is simply an administrator, I am a firm believer that administrative skill sets can be taught to anybody. There's no challenge in learning the day-to-day operations and moving through and taking the next step. But if you're looking for somebody who is a leader, who can inspire staff, who can work with the community, who can engage with them, build trust and development, that's not afraid to fail forward, and somebody that can really take a look at where something is and visualize where it could be and get an idea around that and build support for it and execute it, then I am the person that you're looking for. But if you want somebody who is going to come in and maintain the status quo and move forward with that, then this wouldn't really necessarily work out for either of us. And I'm not to say that I'm a bull in a china shop, but I am somebody that likes to get things done. I like to serve my community. I like to come up with ideas and inspire my team and get input and really build things for the future. That is where I thrive. And so if that is what you are interested in your community, then I would be definitely a top candidate for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anthony, do you have any questions for the village council?
I am interested in, so what would you say is the best part of Blissfield? Because I can only read so much and I don't have the opportunity to talk with other individuals until right now. And I don't like to ask just, what are you looking for? Because I explained who I am and you can make a decision if you like me or not. But I guess it's an opportunity to kind of like give me some insight as to like why you live there, why you choose to serve, and what makes you passionate about the community where you're at. And that can really come from anybody, but I am curious as to what makes Blissfield great from your perspective.
Well, I will address that, I guess, to start things off. I came from a very small community, and in my community, we did not have many of the amenities that Blissfield has. Example, a pharmacy, a grocery store, a bank. We did not have those things. And I like the small town atmosphere, because I was very familiar with growing up, but yet I needed and wanted to up the ante to have some more of the, obviously, more of the conveniences of real life, if you will.
I also think it's the people. I think the people of this town, whether you grew up here or you moved in at any point in your life, there's a real sense of community about this place, and there's multiple opportunities to get involved, whether it's through the schools or through the village or any one of the service clubs. People are always busy in this town doing something for others, and I think that's what has kept me here. A lot of my friends moved away after college. I stayed here because I love Blissfield.
I would echo what Jerry just explained. I moved here from Southeast Florida to raise a family. And it has been a wonderful community to grow and raise a family. The school, campus, and the community surrounding the school has been wonderful. And I now choose to serve just to help put my imprint or the voices I surround myself with, my peers, and help drive what I think can be the best Blissfield. The people here have been amazing to me and my family, and they're very engaged. Their work ethic is incredible. There's a lot of success stories that come out of Blissfield for a small town. Unlike some of these surrounding communities, I've heard oftentimes there's an air of arrogance that comes with Blissfield, but I would contest that and say that it's a pride factor, and there's a tremendous amount of pride in this small community. And what really retains me here is the ability to access some of the larger metro areas, like you've mentioned. Toledo and downtown Toledo is only 20, 25 minutes away from us. It's got a great AAA ballpark and hockey and a pretty vibrant community. And through seeing what they're doing there, I think we're getting better ideas of what can happen in our small downtown here. So I think there's a lot of great things happening and a lot more great things to come for Blissfield.
I like that. I do like that. And I can understand the hometown pride and finding something that you're very proud of. And all the things you described are fantastic. And like you said, the proximity to the metro area and how that influences the suburbs and how you can take things and scale it that makes sense to where you're at without, making it work. So, well, wonderful. I don't have any further questions though, but I will say thank you for the opportunity today. And I don't want to end it because it's not my place to end it, but I'll let you know what the next, I'll let you all.
So I just wanted to say thanks for applying for the position, Anthony, and thanks for taking the time today, and you will be notified either way.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Have a nice afternoon.
Who's trying to?
Melissa unmuted yourself. I need to do a quick back to work. Okay.
As do I. Which way are you going?
I did
6
well.
minutes.
I can do it. I'm going, which way are you going, Jared?
I'm going right here.
Well, there's,
Okay,
there's
there's
one
one
there.
There's one of each.
Oh, there's one of you. Okay, now, I'm thinking it's a family thing. That's why, you know, the family bathroom.
All family of Blissfield. I'm gonna trump anybody now.
No, that's,
If
that's
as
fine.
as a candidate, that's what I'd want to hear.
Yeah. Well, it was good coming from you. It's an outsider.
Yeah, that I am.
But a good outsider.
Yeah. That's why I said it with a smile. I do that all the time. Blissful doesn't make people come in. I don't care when people come in. Yes.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
I don't like my son, that's not last. I've never had an issue. He's just a good person. I think the world is your oyster here. No back, that comes with some weight.
Mine's even better.
You got a lot more family here than I do.
I do, but it's the Ford name, you know, the car thing that goes with the name. Not in this case. I wish I had some of that money.
Ford's in my family. I wish I did too.
Out of water.
All right, one more.
Big girl.
Yeah. You hear that, Jay? Somebody said that. You should be a girl.
There's two.
I said, well, hey, which one?
No.
They're ladies, either one of the ladies or the woman.
What's that?
It's a long time, yeah.
Really?
Just resting my hands. Checking, reading the inside of my eyelids.
You want to add something?
Ice cream. Ice cream, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee shop, I'm really short.
As soon as this
I've
is
already
done.
decided I'm gonna have to get my own dish. Because I'm really
It was a. Dave Duggan was kind of portrait.
It was something that was gonna be after.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually in his plans. And I knew, but then it.
Well, we tried to bring them in for, he just told me that. That's ice cream, right? Location, when we down.
Exactly.
So, I can believe past that.
I knew there was.
This whole place in my business owner, 223, 30% of the business, daily business is walk-ins.
Oh,
So I can imagine a nice food place with multiple entrances would do.
Yeah, that's gonna be my problem. So, here we are.
All right. Are you going to?
It's sort of not has ice cream.
Oh.
That's the definition of soda. Ice cream. And soda. It's in that order.
I never knew that. I never saw that thing working.
Oh.
I never knew. Okay. So,
He didn't know what soda fountain had ice cream.
oh, yeah.
should have grew up when Bailey's was.
Yeah, I know they are.
Or about it. You never slip me for
So you
anything like
need-
Jay
you need
Bailey.
a signature?
I go in there and get like a chocolate coat and Jay will flip it for it. You flip a coin, you never let you see the coin. He's like, Cheers.
Good afternoon, Danielle.
Hello, how are you all?
Good, how are you?
Thank you.
Good.
So, I'm Bob Valdez, the village president. So the Blissfield Village Council is interested in getting to know you this afternoon. Please take a couple minutes to tell us about yourself personally and professionally.
Well, my name is Danielle. I am the mother of 3 boys. They're 9, 10, and 12. So when I'm not working, I'm spending time with them. My family enjoys camping, outdoors, fishing, hiking. Professionally, I am currently working for the City of Rawlins as the Community Development Director and the Interim Public Works Director. I've been with the city for about 8.5 years, and I've just kind of worked my way up. I started actually as a public works secretary and have worked up from there. Before the city, my background is actually in finance. That's what my degree is in, and I worked for a bank and managed a local bank here, Bank of the West. But yeah, I actually love working for the city. If you'd asked me 10, 12 years ago, I probably would have never told you I would work for a local municipality, but it has been, I love it. It challenges me. I've grown a lot. I've learned a lot. I've built some amazing relationships. But that's a little bit about me, unless you guys have something specific.
Okay, thank you.
Hi there, Danielle. My name is Gwen. Excuse me. If you were an elected village trustee, what would be your top 2 goals for Blissfield?
Well, being that this would be a new position, my first goal would be to really get to know the employees and the citizens and make sure that I have a good understanding of what is going on currently, what we're looking at in the near future. And then I think you guys have some projects that would need to be a priority and some different things going on. I believe like budget is kicking off or starting already. You guys have the wastewater treatment plant project upgrades and things like that. So I would definitely want to get up to speed on those very quickly and make sure I could help in any way that I could.
All right, thank you.
Hi Danielle, my name is Mike Gunter. If you would please share with us your proudest professional accomplishment.
So this one is hard to verbalize, I guess, but I'm actually most proud of how far my department at the City of Rawlins has come. And what I mean by that, when I started with the city, there was a culture of the employees not working together. There was no trust with the citizens within our department and the employees that were there. There was no communication, and it was not something that happened overnight. It took a long time, I think, to get that way. But over the last several years, we've been able to completely turn that around. While I did not do that fully by myself, I do feel like I took the lead on that and helped kind of guide and navigate that culture change, which to me is huge. We have now a department that our citizens support us. And in fact, if somebody says something negative, they jump to our defense to really stick up for us. We have employees that are communicating, that trust each other, that are happier. So they're more productive, they're getting more work done. And I think it's so good to see that community and our department come together. So I'm definitely extremely proud of that and the people that have helped make that happen too.
Hi Danielle, I'm Barb McHenry. Since being notified that you were a finalist for this position, what have you done to get to know the Blissfield community?
So I have actually started watching the council meetings and trying to familiarize myself with some of the things going on. I have looked at your website a lot. I could probably navigate you almost anywhere by now. Your website's actually great. It has so much information. I've reviewed the budget, the comprehensive plan. I've been actually following your Facebook page as well, and checking out some of the comments and posts and things going on there.
Okay, thank you.
Hi Daniela, this is Jerry Hayes. Please share your relevant municipal experience that you believe would make you an ideal candidate to lead our community.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, I am currently employed with the city of Rollins. I have been in a supervisory role for, well, since about 2016 officially. I enjoy working for local government. I have gained a lot of knowledge. I work with the Department of Environmental Quality. Out here, our water treatment and wastewater treatment plant is also regulated by EPA. So I work closely with them as well. I've done a lot of things. I've done leadership Carbon County. I've partnered with our DDA. I supervise a lot of divisions. So the benefit to that has just been kind of getting to know a little bit of everything, which I'm hoping if I were able to get this position would help me there too. I've worked with streets and managed some multi-million-dollar projects there. I've been able to work on grants and funding for water and sewer infrastructure projects. And, I work with our council and our current city manager very closely, regularly. So I'm hoping that, and then on top of that, I love to learn new things. I love to be challenged. So anything that I'm not familiar with yet, I am excited to learn it and to grow personally and professionally and help the community grow as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Danielle, this is James Eitzen. Teamwork is an important component of a successful organization. Please share with us the last time you went above and beyond to foster teamwork in your organization.
Yeah, so I kind of talked about the culture a little bit, but one of the newer things that we've implemented specifically to really help teamwork is quarterly meetings, where we actually just get together as a group and we do something fun. We don't necessarily, we don't do something work related, and it's usually about 2 hours once a quarter. But for example, last quarter we did a soup cook-off, and the employees brought different soups, and we had a little voting competition for the employees and some prizes. And then after that, we did a series of minute to win it games at our local rec center here. And we split off into teams. We actually numbered off so that you had to work with somebody different than maybe who you normally work with in your division. And that was actually now our 4th quarterly meeting. We've done quite a few now. They've been a huge success, but it's been awesome. The employees get to know each other a little bit more, which I think just goes back to that, they trust each other more and they want to talk to each other more when they have that team building experience. So they're one of my favorite things. I love them. They're so much fun. And it's been really great for me too, because it's given me the opportunity to know the employees on a different level too. But it's been great.
Thank you.
Helping to create a stronger economic base and a continued vibrant downtown are critical to Blissfield. Please share your overall experience in economic development and downtown relations.
So as the community development director, I get to do a lot of development. I've worked with numerous developers to do subdivisions, whether it's residential development. We have some great businesses actually that have been coming to Rollins. I also partner directly with a lot of our economic development agencies. Our Downtown Development Authority is one of them. We have a DDA director, Pam, she's wonderful and she does great things. So she's been a huge resource, and her and I have worked together on a lot of different projects. to help our downtown. And then we have also the Chamber of Commerce and a local Carbon County Economic Development that we work with pretty regularly to help reach out to businesses. Wyoming right now has a specific opportunity zone is what it's called, to help with some tax incentives. So we've been able to utilize that to bring some businesses in as well.
Thank you. Fast forward to May 20th, 2024. You have now been our village administrator for the past 3 years. What would a successful 3-year period look like to you?
I think that would look like operations running smoothly, without any major issues. I think it would look like we had employees with retention and longevity and loyalty to the village, happy citizens. I think a very good understanding of the job and what's expected, and maybe a little bit peaceful and calm down, to get through this change and to learn everything, because there will be a period where there'll be some adjustments. So, I see things kind of in that time frame slowing down a little bit, as far as not, development or growth, but just slowing down on the side of getting to know things and having a good handle on what is happening.
Thank you.
The Blissfield Village Council is seeking an administrator who will consider our community their home. We hope you will be seen as an important part of our community fabric. Please share your current community involvement or your after-hours volunteerism.
So I do volunteer with almost all of the city events. Especially if it's family-oriented events, because it's things I can take my kids to. We do quite a few things here. We have Summerfest that I'm a volunteer for, which is kind of our big summer downtown event. We have fun runs with our fire department and numerous nonprofits that I help with and work with. Additionally, I am a huge partner in Leadership Carbon County, which is a leadership course for 1 day a month for 6 months every year. A group of selected individuals get to go on different tours. So I help organize that. I do some presentations, different setup things. And then we recently quit, but we were foster parents. Community is huge for us, and we like small communities where we know the people. We want to be a part of it. So regardless of what position or where we end up, community is huge.
Thank you.
Danielle, this is your opportunity to take the next 2 minutes. Tell us why we should select you and why you're the right fit for Blissfield.
So I am a hard worker. I am very passionate about my job. I enjoy networking and partnering with people. I love making a positive impact on my community and watching it to grow and develop into doing wonderful, amazing things. I am very loyal to the employees. I want to support the employees. I am from Tecumseh initially, in Lenawee County. So I think this opportunity kind of brings me back to my roots, and it's just a great opportunity where I could come back and give back to a place, close to where I grew up in the same county. And that would be incredibly satisfying to me. And I think help me to do just a great job for you guys and for the community and the employees.
Thanks, Danielle, for your answers. Do you have any questions for the village council?
Yeah, I do have just a couple. I was wondering, one of the projects that you guys had as listed as a challenge was the pool upgrades, or not pool upgrades, I apologize, but some additional kind of punch list items for the pool. And I was not able to see where you guys were at with that project or what was happening there, and was hoping you could give me a little quick summary.
Well, we were working on the punch list at some of the things that the contractors didn't quite finish on the aquatic center. And we're still in negotiations with them to make sure that they fix those.
I would say the roof is probably the roof is probably the biggest one. You know, we're still holding back some the final payment of the bond. So, you know, just make sure the checks and balances, again, the community invested $2 million into this project. We want to make sure that, you know, we've got all of our ducks in a row, and that, you know, that it's built to the standards that the community expects. So again, a lot of small punch list items, but the biggest thing would be the roof, I would say.
I believe that the not contractor, but who is our
Architect.
thank you, that our architect is gonna be at our attendance at our meeting this coming week, or next week, actually, to discuss those punch list items.
Okay. And then I guess I was curious if you guys could talk to me a little bit about it. Do you feel like your citizens of Blissfield are happy with local government right now, or have they been supportive, or has there been some challenges there?
I think that there have been some challenges with our local government on some different levels.
Okay. Do you feel like there's an opportunity there for that to be repaired though, or are we?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I think I can say that clearly.
Sure.
Okay. And then lastly, do you guys have high employee retention? Is there a lot of turnover?
No, we have really good employee retention.
Okay. And then I think my last question for you guys is just what the process you envision looking like from here for the selection of the administrator?
We have a firm that is doing helping us with this process, and we will be discussing all the candidates after we get done speaking with you. And then I'd like to thank you for applying for the position, and I thank you for your time today. And then we'll definitely let you know one way or the other as to what we decided. Does that answer your question?
Probably looking at another round.
Yes.
With a narrowed down field of candidates, so probably one more final round with 2 or 3 final candidates, depending on how council feels.
Okay. Well, I guess I would just like you guys to know too that I definitely appreciate this opportunity, and I would love to, you know, if I do make it into the final round, to come to your community. I know I am kind of far right now, but I could be there fairly quickly, and would love to meet you all in person and have the opportunity to do that if given it. So just throwing it out there that I am available and open to that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is all I have. So again, I really thank you guys, and if you need anything else from me, just reach out to me and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks.
Take care. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
So Frank,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we're following the correct process here. So now we are going to discuss our candidates, and then you would like us to narrow it down.
Yeah, so a couple suggestions. First of all, when we partnered together 3.5 months ago on this process, I have to tell you, I didn't envision such a strong group at the end. I have to tell you that. So I wish you well going forward, because I'm not sure, if I were in your shoes, I'm not sure what step I would take. So there's a couple of options you have. One is to have discussion right now and try to come down to 3 finalists. And we can talk about that a second interview process. I would encourage you not to go less than 3, because what can happen is you get 2 and then somebody decides, oh, I'm not going to follow. Then you're left with 1. And then you're literally left with a process. So I wouldn't go less than 3, unless you think after 30 minutes, someone just really stood out and you're ready to move forward and make an offer. I would encourage you to take a little bit of time and have it, but that's totally up to you. So do you have someone in mind that's just head and shoulders above everyone and you want to start working out an agreement with them? Number 2, do you want to boil it or narrow it down to 3? And then if you want to narrow it down to 3, is now the right time? Or do you want to take a couple days and put it on your agenda Monday night, have the weekend to think about it, ponder all the answers and responses. And on Monday night, do you want to narrow it down to 3? And the only thing I ask is, when you narrow it down, only stick to the comments. If there are 2 that you're just not interested with, let's not discuss them at all. Only discuss the people that you're interested in moving forward, because then it keeps it all positive and it's better for all the candidates. Because as you can see, all 5 have invested a lot of time into this process, hours of preparing for these interviews. So the question is, do you want to discuss candidates now, or do you want to wait till Monday? And then when you do, it's really imperative. And here's the most important part. Do not have any discussions. This is a strong suggestion to you. Don't have any discussions about, well, I like candidate 2. I also like 4 and 5, but 2's my favorite. If you do that, you're going, because they're all going to pay attention to what you say, and number 4 and 5 aren't going to come back. If it's clear that number 2 is so only talk about generically about, I like 2, 3, and 4. Those are my top 3. And don't get into which one you like better, because you'll really, really terminate the rest of the process. So again, do you move forward tonight with discussion? Do you wait till Monday? And please don't identify at all of who your favorite candidate is or who did the best. So that's the advice I have for you at this moment. And I'm here if you have any questions.
So what would you guys like to do?
I'm open to having a discussion now.
I would concur. I would like to have a discussion now.
We can do that.
Frank, it sounds like we're open to having this.
Okay. And one more thing too, when you do get down to your 3 today, which it appears you're going to do, it would be great if you offered all 3 of them in a motion, a second interview, and that even though it may not be the 3 that but whatever the majority is, that we have a unanimous vote on bringing the 3 back. Thank you.
What did he say?
Frank, can you just run through that one more time for us?
Yeah. So, you're going to talk about your 3 that you want to bring back. And once you coalesce a majority of who you're going to bring back, this is not easy stuff, doing it, right after the fact and not having some time to ponder. These kind of discussions are difficult. They have to be done in public, and you're trying to reach the top 3 and who you bring back. And it's important that after you do that, to have a majority vote or to have a unanimous vote on those 3, so that when at the end of the day, these are the 3. It may not have been, maybe I'll just say Gwen's 3, but it may not be Bob's 3. But at the end of the process, try to reach a unanimous vote on who you're going to bring back.
Now, just to clarify for us, you prepare the next round of questioning. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Thank
you. I'll handle everything from start to finish. And next step, whenever you decide to have the interviews, I'll prepare the candidates and the council and the staff for it.
Would it be appropriate for us to have something, Frank, like a piece of paper where each of us would put down our our list of the candidates and compile those papers just to look at, to say,
Yeah, it would be
name is
nice.
first, second, third, fourth, is it with them?
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could do that. But unfortunately, the law doesn't allow, the Open Meetings Act doesn't allow you to do that. And if you did that, you'd have to put your names on them anyway. So it's really no different than, that's why I always suggest it. And I know you may not want to go this way, but I always suggest that it might be better to pause for 3 or 4 days until Monday night. And it gives you some time to reflect a little bit and, think about this and then come together Monday night and have your discussion. It's tough. I know this is really difficult because you may be thinking of 3 and then, someone else might be thinking of 3 different, and I know, but following the Open Meetings Act, you have to have this whole discussion in public. You can't do any
Well,
paper.
there would still be discussion when I was, let me clarify that. So what I'm just thinking, I'm a big writer down person. So I'm just thinking if I were to write down my people in order and each of us did that, you could have my piece of paper, but that would give us a place to start our discussion from.
Yes. So what you're saying is, let's write down who our 3 are before we have anyone speak, and therefore no one is.
Yes.
No one's 3 are kind of dictated by what somebody else thinks. Yeah, you're welcome to do that as long. I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you wanted to hand them all to Bob. And,
No. I just thought that might be an efficient way for us to go ahead and do that, but maybe not.
No, you're welcome to. Yeah, you're welcome to all right now. Write down your top 3, and then just go around and however the president calls on people to list their 3, and then see if there's any kind of majority of the 3.
Well, can I suggest this then? I had a couple of criteria in mind as I was reading resumes, as I was going through the interviews and listening to answers. Can we just talk generically about what your criteria is, or the criteria of the group, so that, and then potentially take a pause until Monday, so that I can get a better understanding of like what they, because I've singled out a few candidates. I don't want to eliminate anybody due to not fully understanding or having a full view of what ideally we're looking for. Is that okay, Frank?
It is, yeah. As long as we keep, and again, I don't want to keep harping on things, but I've sat through a lot of these. And as long as we keep all of our comments to the positive about what we liked about, well, I can tell you, let me tell you this, maybe this will help you. Going back to the community profile, we all, you were all interviewed, all the staff was interviewed. We took all the time to do that. And if you go back to that, what are the top 3 things? The top 3 things that you said collectively that you were looking for in a candidate? And I can tell you distinctly what they are. One was the economic development and the health of the community was one of the top 3. The other one was someone who's going to reside there and become very involved in the community. So economic development and the health of the community, someone who's going to move there, live there, and get involved in the community. And number 3 is someone who will help build the trust between the council, the community, and the staff. Those were the top 3 things, and they were head and shoulders above everything else. So that might be, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's the guidance you get from everything you've done to this point.
That exactly answers that. I guess what I was looking for.
It does. I'd like to add one to that though. I would have to say it's obviously going to be a learning curve for whoever comes in here. But based on the history of what we've gone through over the past year, I think we need somebody that has their feet wet, somebody that knows what's going on, somebody that knows how to operate and run a village. And I think that's critical because based on the past, we did it as a learning curve, as a new experience, and it didn't work out for us. So I think council expects that. I think our employees expect that. And I think our residents expect that, where, yes, there is gonna be a little bit of a learning curve, understandable. That's the nuts and bolts of just learning a new community and learning how we operate. But we need somebody that can come in and jump right in and get this thing going. And I think that's critical.
I think that's from a council standpoint in particular, yes. Mhm. Mhm.
There it goes. Yep.
Is it beeping?
It is beeping.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's such an important decision to make that it might make sense just to take those 2, 3, 4 days to give it some thought and come in Monday refreshed. What are we looking for? Go over all their comments that they made. Unless you're very clear on who you'd want to move forward right now. Sometimes a little bit of a pause is a good thing.
I don't disagree with that. How busy are we on Monday?
There's 14 items right now.
14. Are
Correct.
they like,
Some of them are quick, they're
oh,
long.
some are quick?
And some are long.
I think we've been.
Just the very bad news, there's currently 14 items, I believe.
So is dinner provided at this meeting?
I mean, I could cook you some.
They're fresh on my mind, and I'll be quite honest,
You've got your 3.
I have my 3, yes, I do. But obviously, we are a team, and I will do whatever you guys determine. I don't want anybody to feel that pressure.
I kind of wanted to take a step back and look again at the resumes, look at the history, look at the experience, that sort of stuff. And I did do that in the past. I kind of don't want to forget about that. Obviously, we've got the interviews fresh in our mind and where we feel that.
Right, that's.
But the only alternative to that would be, what kind of background do they have? What kind of experience do they have? So I think I have my 3. I could pick either way, but again, I just don't want to forget about the background of these candidates as well, not just based on how they interviewed today.
Understand.
And Monday's only 4 days away, so it's all still pretty fresh. The interviews are still pretty fresh. So I'm okay either way though.
I say we just wait till Monday and make a 15th item on the agenda.
It's already long, so.
Is there any reason why we can't come back on a different day?
Well, yeah, yeah, next week I'm packed every day after school. I will not be, I know we need to be united when we all come. I will not have that opportunity next week. The following week, yes, not next week.
I don't think we should wait that long.
No.
Okay, so it's Monday. Gear up for a long night Monday.
I'm asking, would you put this as the beginning of the agenda? Would this be at the end of the agenda? Do we have a preference on that? Does it matter?
Well, to me, the end of the agenda is like 2 hours. You know, 2 hours, 2.5 hours into it, we're tired.
Top priority. I think this should be right
I
up
think it
front
should be
myself.
I just want to clarify so that we, no one,
I think.
where it's gonna
I
be.
think first.
And Lisa
second.
does the agenda, so
Right.
you could put it at.
Absolutely.
All right, then that's what we're
Okay.
going to do.
So let's begin to clarify for.
Clarify it.
Clarify, you
Go
got
ahead.
it. When we meet on Monday, this will be the first item on our agenda. When we come together, we're each gonna have 3 names. Is that what I'm hearing us say as well?
Yep.
Okay. Not in any special order, is that correct?
That's correct.
That's correct.
And do we identify them by number or name?
You can identify them by name at this point.
Okay, it's all public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
All right, then, so that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So I would take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Support.
Call the roll, Lisa.
James,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Gwen,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Meeting adjourned. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Frank, for your help.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Frank.
Thanks for your guidance.
Thanks, Jan.
See you Monday.
Thank you.
Right. We on mute?